Hey, what's up, guys? So, Trump and the Saudi prince. Trump just dropped a new video with the Saudi prince from Fox. So, we're going to take a look, see what's going on today, and see if there's any big news.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. We have a extremely respected man in the Oval Office today, and a friend of mine for a long time, a very good friend of mine. And I'm very proud of the job he's done. What he's done is incredible in terms of human rights and everything else. And he's the Crown Prince, the future king, and I just want to pay my greatest
the human rights
respect
are
to
better.
your father, the king, who is an amazing man. I met him early on. He greeted me at the airport at an age that was pretty high up there, and it was about 117 degrees, and he was standing on the red carpet as I came out of the plane, and he's amazing. And when I met his brilliant son, it was at the Oval Office. Shortly thereafter, you came in representing the country, and I called the father. I said, "This guy is fantastic." And I don't know if that helped you or hurt you, but obviously it couldn't have hurt too much because here you are, right? But we had a great meeting, and
King of the
the office
Glazers.
has changed quite a bit, and we
He loves
inherited a
glazing.
mess. You actually told me you thought the country was in big trouble. I'm not going to use the exact word that you use. I refuse to say that you thought our country was dead a year and a half, 2 years ago, but a country was in trouble, and now we have the hottest country in the world. You said that also. And we do. We have the United States is right now the hottest country in the world. And between the tariffs and the election, November 5th election, we've done things that nobody can believe. $21 trillion will be the amount invested in the United States or committed to invest in 1 year. So I'm here 9 months. We're up to almost $18 trillion. Biden,
money.
as an example, the Biden administration, if you call it that, it's not, to me, it was the Biden lack of administration. They were less than 1 trillion for 4 years. We're going to be 21 trillion for 1 year. I think that's hard to believe. The biggest in history was a certain country, 3 trillion. We're going to be 21 trillion. On top of that, prices are coming down. We inherited a mess with high prices. The worst inflation
Prices
in
are
the history of
still
our
high,
country.
man.
We had inflation that was a single 4 years, the worst inflation in the history of the United States. Gas prices through the roof, and that's after destroying our petroleum reserve, which was meant for wars and big emergencies, not to try and win an election. They opened up the reserve so that people get $3 less in gasoline, and it didn't work. They got about 3 cents less, because as big as those reserves are, they're peanuts when you're talking about that kind of traffic. And we're rebuilding the reserves. We're doing all of this, and we've done a job. We're also bringing down prices very substantially, and we've already brought them down very, very substantially. Gasoline is way down. I think you'll be seeing $2 gasoline, but we're now at $2.50, $2.45. Some are lower than that.
Yeah,
It
I
was
mean,
$4.50, $5, $6, $3.50, $3.75. Under Biden, all different numbers, but way high. And we have energy way down.
it's down, but
But
I
the
don't
biggest
know.
thing to me, because I know what it means in jobs, is
Like some places like Oregon, I'm in Oregon, and all the Northwest is still like $5-6+ a gallon. So it's weird too, because they have the prices on the pump, right? So the price, they have the taxes on the pump. So it says like, oh, you're getting charged 50 cents state tax, 20 cents county tax, whatever. And that should be it. So it's like, why is it like $3 more than in like Texas or Tennessee, but you're only charging 70 cents in taxes? Doesn't really make sense.
the fact that we're at over $17 trillion, Scott, and we expect to be around $21 trillion in 1 year. And that's many times bigger than in history. The highest number was $3 trillion. And we're going to be at 21 trillion. That means new plants, new AI, new auto plants. We have auto plants coming in from Canada, from Mexico, from Germany, from Japan. Toyota just agreed to invest $10 billion on new auto plants. all American workers. We've never been in a position like this. You can go back to the beginning. Our country has never been in a position like this.
Guys.
And it really is because of the fact that we use tariffs to bring all this money in. And you're going to see the results in a year when these plants start to open up. We have more plants under construction now than at any time in the history of our country. And these are big plants. These are the biggest plants anywhere in the world. And I want to thank you because you've agreed to invest $600 billion into the United States. And because he's my friend, he might make it $1 trillion, but I'm going to have to work on him. But it's 600. We can count on 600 billion, but that number could go up a little bit higher. Yes, sir. I don't know. We'll see. But we appreciate it very much. So Saudi is going to be investing at least $600 billion, and that means investments in plants, in companies, money on Wall Street, and what it really means for everybody that really counts is jobs, a lot of jobs. We have a lot of jobs. So I just want to thank you. We've been really good friends for a long period of time. We've always been on the same side of every issue. I think we've done a great job in wiping out the nuclear capacity of Iran. Nobody else could have done that.
It was a good thing.
Would have done it. We had the pilots in the Oval Office right here. We were celebrating a very successful attack. So I had them in with that beautiful B-2 bomber that's over there. And
Dude, like all the gold is
said,
crazy.
Sir, for
though,
22 years,
it looked like we're in Saudi Arabia right now.
Our predecessors, these were very young guys. So 22 years, they said our predecessors and us practiced the attack on Iran. But no president ever gave us the go-ahead. 3 times a year they went out and they practiced the attack. Nobody let us do it until you came along, and I let them do it because it was the right thing to do. You can't have a nuclear Iran. And so we put you in a very good position. But I just want to say it's an honor to be your friend, and it's an honor that you're here. And if you'd like to say a few words, but thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. This relation has been a relation for about 9 decades, and we've been working together for a long time. But today it's a very important time in our history because there is also a lot of things that we're working in the future. We believe in the future of the United States of America. We believe in what you're doing, Mr. President, really creating a lot of good things and good foundation to create more economic growth, more business in America. And it will also your work for the world peace. I believe, Mr. President, today and tomorrow we're going to announce that we are going to increase that $600 billion to almost $1 trillion of investment, real investment and real opportunity by details in many areas. And the agreement that we are signing today in many areas in technology, in AI, in earth materials, magnet, etc., that will create a lot of investment opportunities.
So you are doing that now. You're saying to me now that the 600 billion will be 1 trillion.
Definitely, because what we are signing, it will facilitate that, and we
I like
will
that
build
very
on
much.
He works hard for that.
No, that's great. I appreciate that. That's great. We're doing numbers that nobody's ever done. And in all fairness, if you didn't see potential in the U.S., you wouldn't be doing that.
Definitely.
You don't want to lose money.
As you said, Mr. President, it's the most hottest country in the planet. But what you're creating is not about opportunity today. It's about also long-term opportunity in the United States of America that will affect American economy positively in the next coming decades, preparing the right foundation of emerging technologies. That's a game changer for America in a good way, and we want to be part of it.
Yeah, we're doing really well. And this, you don't see what we're doing so much because we have, although the construction industry sees it. If you look at Caterpillar, who's been incredible, the tractors, everything else, the numbers that we're doing in construction are unbelievable. Some of the plants that we're building, AI, and they're building their own electric with the plant. I gave them the right to build their own electric with the plant because no country, frankly, will have this. China's working very hard to produce enough electric, but we're beating China substantially at AI, which is a big thing. And we had a great meeting 2 weeks ago with President Xi, but on AI, we're doing well. And I have a man, David Rommel.
Yes, sir.
David, could you say a few words about what you're seeing on the job front and all of the some of the assets, and also
seems like
how
Trump has finally
we've been
gotten the
helped by
message that
Saudis
like a
in
lot of
terms
people are
the kind
kind of mad
investment
about
they've made. Please.
Yeah, most certainly. Thank you for the opportunity. I am
the
a
economy
facility
and the
leader for
job
GE
market
Vernova.
that he hasn't
And
done
if
more.
you look at the landscape for GE Vernova investment, over $750 million in the U.S. focused on true manufacturing jobs here stateside. We're looking at tripling the output of our Greenville, South Carolina facility, where we make the gas turbines that are supporting U.S. needs as well as the Saudi Arabia needs.
Right.
So real jobs, $300 million in gas investment, resulting in over 500 pieces of new equipment being installed in the Greenville, South Carolina facility. That translates into roughly 1,800 jobs across the board for GE Vernova as we try to scale capacity to be able to meet this demand. Along with that, we're partnering with local communities to build the skill set that's required to meet these capacity needs. So that talent pipeline is incredibly important. So it's real jobs in the manufacturing space.
Well, you've been great, and thank you very much. And
Yeah, we need to
love
see
that
it, though.
state. I won that state by record numbers. I won a lot of states by record. Texas, a lot of them by Indiana. Just we're working with Indiana or something right now. We won that. We won a lot of them by records, but that was one of them. I want to thank you very much. Say hello to everybody. Great job. You're doing a great job. Thank you. So, just in wrapping up, we'll take a couple of questions, but I want to just tell you what an honor it is to be your friend. And I very much appreciate the investment of now $1 trillion, okay? I'm glad you got that out. I didn't want to be the one to tell them, but that's great news.
We keep increasing, Mr. President.
I know.
Each time the opportunities are just increasing more and more.
Well,
I
the
mean, dude, to the
opportunities,
Saudis,
we're
though,
doing
what's a
better.
trillion?
If,
That's like what
even
they
if you
give
look
as
back
like
6 months ago, I mean, now all of a
wedding
sudden,
presents.
You feel even better. So, and I think we're only going to go in one way. Does anybody have any questions?
Mr. President, have you approved the export licenses for advanced chips to Saudi Arabia? The export licenses?
We are working on that. We're negotiating that right now. Marco, do you want to talk about that, or Scott?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's part of what we may have announcements on that later today. But that's what we've been working on is the mechanics by which something like that can be achieved. And it's part of the broader process, part of this broader engagement and cooperation between our two countries.
Certain levels of chips. Yeah.
And for the Crown Prince, Your Royal
I mean-
Highness, you're talking about a
What we really need to see some growth in the economy and growth in jobs and stuff like that if he wants to kind of halt the fracturing that's been happening in the MAGA movement and stuff. Price come down, things like that. We need to see it tangibly.
$1 trillion of investment. Could the kingdom continue to do that with oil prices in the mid-60s?
Yeah, we are not creating a fake opportunities to, please America, please President Trump. It's real opportunities. For example, when you ask about the AI and the chips, Saudi Arabia have a huge demand of, a huge need of computing power, and we're gonna spend in the short term around $50 billion by consuming those semiconductors for our needs in Saudi Arabia. And with the agreement that we're gonna have with National of America, that will allow us to focus that consuming power in the short term by $50 billion from the National of America, and long term with hundreds of billion dollars in the long term. So there's a lot of real opportunities that fit to our need in Saudi Arabia and fit to our investment strategy.
Mr. President, is it appropriate, Mr. President, for your family to be doing business in Saudi Arabia while you're president? Is that a conflict of interest? And Your Royal Highness, the U.S. intelligence concluded that you orchestrated the brutal murder of a journalist. 9/11 families are furious that you are here in the Oval Office. Why should Americans trust you? And the same to you, Mr. President.
Now, who are you with?
I'm with ABC News, sir.
You're with who?
ABC News, sir.
Fake news, ABC fake news, one of the
But the
worst,
question is
one of the
legitimate,
worst
sir.
in the business. But I'll answer your question.
Thank you.
I have nothing to do with the family business. I have left, and when I've devoted 100% of my energy. What my family does is fine. They do business all over. They've done very little with Saudi Arabia, actually. I'm sure they could do a lot. And anything they've done has been very good. That's what we've done. We've built a tremendous business for a long time. I've been very successful. I decided to leave that success behind and make America very successful. And I've made America more successful by far than it ever was, and that it ever could have been, no matter
She ain't getting invited to the White House again.
who was president. There would be nobody bringing in $21 trillion, that I can tell you right now. As far as this gentleman is concerned, he's done a phenomenal job. You're mentioning somebody that was extremely controversial. A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you're talking about. Whether you like him or didn't like him, things happen. But he knew nothing about it, and we can leave it at that. You don't have to embarrass our guest by asking a question like
It's okay,
that.
Mr. Chesney, ask Mr.
Please,
President
go ahead.
if you allow me to answer. You know, I feel painful about, the families of 9/11 in America, but, we have to focus on reality. Reality based on CIA documents and based on a lot of documents that Osama bin Laden, he used Saudi people in that event for one main purpose, is to destroy this relation, to destroy the American-Saudi relation. That's the purpose of 9/11. So whoever buying that means they are helping Osama bin Laden's purpose of destroying this relation. He knows.
I mean, he's not
that
wrong.
strong relation between America and Saudi Arabia, it's bad for extremism, it's bad for terrorism.
Yep.
And we have to approve him wrong and to build our relation, to continue developing our relation. It's critical in the safety of the world. It's critical against extremism and terrorism. About
That was still a
terrorists,
wild
it's really,
question, though.
painful
Man,
to hear,
I wasn't expecting that. That hit me out of
anyone
left field.
that been losing his life for no real purpose or not in a legal way, and it's been painful for us in Saudi Arabia. We've did all the right steps of investigation, etc., in Saudi Arabia, and we've improved our system to be sure that nothing happened like that, and it's painful and it's a huge.
I mean, here's like the thing, right? You can't hold Saudi Arabia and the royal family responsible forever for that kind of stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, like, I don't know. I mean, there's intelligence people that know a lot better on their ties and everything else, but like the way we fix stuff is by working together. Like whether it's your worst enemy or your best friend, if the US and Saudi start generating money together, there ain't going to be terrorist attacks, at least none that are Saudi sponsored or Saudi born. Like that's just the reality. If we're making money off of each other, that solves a lot of the problems. As silly as that sounds, like, I mean, if you're in business and you and your top competitor do a merger, like you're going to stop like bashing the competitor and running counter ads and stuff like that, because that would hurt your money. So, at the end of the day, I mean, it kind of is what it is.
Mistake, and we are doing our best that this doesn't happen again.
Mr. President,
Thank you, Mr. President.
The Crown Prince has been instrumental in helping lifting the sanctions on Syria. Will there be any joint investment between the U.S. and Syria? And will you visit Damascus?
Are you from Syria?
No, but
Where are you from?
I'm from Palestine.
Oh, you're making a lot of progress, huh? Very good. Well, they like me. The Palestinians like me. The Palestinians are doing very well, actually. I think we're working very closely with a lot of people to make everybody happy, including Israel, the Palestinians, and everybody. That's very interesting.
You love
No,
saying
I
shit
think
like that. He knows it's just going to needle the lefties.
I will tell you, the Crown Prince called me, and he specifically asked me if I would lift the sanctions on Syria, because he wants to see Syria make it. As you know, the leader of Syria was just here, and we had a great meeting, and he's a strong guy.
Yeah, that was another
and I
one,
guess you
right?
need a strong
Like, everybody
person
hated
to
that he was
run
meeting
it.
with that guy, but it's
And I
like,
think
what are you going to do?
Syria's
The
made
guy's running
tremendous
Syria.
progress. We did lift the sanctions at the request of the Crown Prince. Also, the president of Turkey, Erdogan, called me specifically. He said, if you don't lift the sanctions, Syria doesn't have a chance. If you do, they have a very good chance.
yeah, for this?
And between the two of them and some others, I lifted the sanctions. And the results so far have been pretty good.
Mr. President, can I ask you a question about the F-35s that are being sold to Saudi Arabia? Are these the same ones that are being used by the Israeli military? And if so, how does that allow for the qualitative military edge for Israel? And then I want to ask you, because you brought up the plight of the Palestinians, are you aware of relocation flights to South Africa that are taking place right now?
Which flights?
There are relocation flights that are taking place. Some Palestinians are being charged up to $2,000
I'm not
a
going to
seat.
South Africa for the G20 because I think their policies on the extermination of people are unacceptable. So I'm not going, so I won't refer to anything having to do with South Africa. South Africa has behaved extremely badly. But I will say that when you look at the F-35 and you're asking me, is it the same? I think it's going to be pretty similar, yeah.
How will that
This
affect-
is a great ally, and Israel's a great ally. And I know they'd like you to get planes of reduced caliber, I don't think that makes you too happy. They've been a great ally. Israel's been a great ally. And we're looking at that exactly right now. But as far as I'm concerned, I think they are both at a level where they should get top of the line. Yes, please.
Can I just quickly ask for the Crown Prince, if I could just ask about the direct
Got the vote coming up for
One
the
second.
Epstein
Go ahead.
files
Have you
too.
reached an agreement on a U.S.-Saudi defense treaty today? And are you going to bring up the Abraham Accords in your
I
discussion?
already brought them up.
What did you say?
I think I got a positive response. Would you like to respond?
Yeah, so
I'll put you on the spot.
yeah, so definitely we believe having a good relation with all Middle Eastern countries it's a good thing, and we want to be part of the Ibrahim Accord, but we want also to be sure that we secure a clear path of two-state solution. And today we have a healthy discussion with Mr. President that we're going to work on that to be sure that we can prepare the right situation as soon as possible to have that happen.
I think we're, I don't want to use the word commitment, but we've had a very good talk on the Abraham Accords. We talked about one state, two state. We talked about a lot of things in a short period of time. We'll be discussing it further too. But I think you have a very good feeling toward the Abraham Accords.
Yes, definitely, Mr. President. We want peace for the Israelis. We want peace for the Palestinians. We want them to coexist peacefully in the region, and we will do our best to reach that day.
And the defense agreement, have you reached agreement on that?
We pretty much have.
I mean, it's pretty revolutionary for Trump to have all these guys from the Middle East in the White House, right? Not be at war with
I wanted to
them.
ask you about the direct talks
conflicting
between the United
constantly.
States and Iran. Have you been fully briefed on that, and are you concerned at all about how this might impact Saudi security interests?
Well, we are close ally. We'll be working closely together on that issue, and we will do our best to help to reach a deal between the United States of America and Iran. And we believe it's good for Iran's future to have a good deal that will satisfy the region and the world and the United States of America. So we will do our best to see that day happen.
And by the way, Iran does want to make a deal. I can say I think they very badly want to make a deal. I am totally open to it, and we're talking to them, and we start a process. But it would be a nice thing to have a deal with Iran, and we could have done it
What's up,
before the war,
Jags
but
fan?
that didn't work out. And something will happen there, I think. But they would very much like, they may say something else, but they would very much like to have a deal.
Do we have a timeline?
That you are going to sell 35 F-35 jets. You said you are planning to sell the F-35 jets to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Is it part of the security agreement? And how you assess the defense partnership between?
I'd
Saudi
rather he
Arabia
sell them
and
to him than
United
leave them in
States?
Afghanistan
And,
for
what's
free
the
like
position?
You
Biden.
just said it. We're going to sell them F-35s. That's the end of the question, I
Is
guess.
it part of the security agreement or no?
No, we're going to have a deal. They're going to purchase F-35s. They're buying them from Lockheed, and it's a great plane. We make, by the way, the best military equipment. You saw that during the Iran little skirmish. We make the best planes, the best missiles. We make the best defensive missiles. We make the best military equipment in the world.
Nice. For His Royal Highness, I would like to ask you about how you see
I don't
the
think there's much doubt
cooperation
in that.
between the United States and Saudi Arabia in the advanced technological field, especially AI, and how it will support Saudi Arabia to serve its goals to achieve the vision of 2030.
Well, I will try to answer that in short, but definitely there's a lot of interest in many industries between Saudi Arabia and America, and we are signing a lot of agreements in different areas that will really add value to American economy, but also to add value to us in Saudi Arabia. And AI, it's critical for us because one of the long-term problems that we could have is lack of workforce. As you've seen in the past few years, some of them have reached 30% of the global migration to Saudi Arabia.
That's the big
we
thing
know
I'm
that
concerned about. I don't know about y'all,
assure
but-
the Saudi Arabia GDP growing, with the lack of workforce that we have, we need
AI
to use
can replace a lot of jobs.
computing power to replace job in the long term. So that's huge demand in Saudi Arabia, and we want to link it to American private sectors and getting the supply from America. So there's a lot of opportunities in that area.
And we're also involved in AI in Saudi Arabia. So we're working, and we're leading by a lot on AI. Actually a lot. China would be in second place, but we're leading by a lot. And I have to say this, and our relationship with China has been very good. And as far as buying our farm products, they're pretty much on schedule, Scott. I'd like you to call them, say if they could speed it up, it would be good. Okay, but they're pretty much on schedule.
President Saudi Arabia, please. If I may, I have a question for both the Crown Prince
go
and
ahead.
Prince.
Who are you? Where are you from?
Faisal Abbas from Arab News, Saudi Arabia, Your Excellency.
You should be a friendly question.
Your Royal Highness, just picking up on something you've just mentioned about how some people try to destroy the relationship between Saudi Arabia and the United States. Perhaps, since the launch of the vision, we've been used to having the bigger picture and that everything fits into the bigger picture. Might you want to elaborate a little bit about where is the relationship, the bilateral relationship, the strategic partnership between Saudi Arabia and the United States heading, and what's the big picture there?
Well, I don't think it's a relation that we can replace it from the Saudi side or the American side. It's a critical relationship for our political attempt, for our economical attempt, for our security, for our military, for many things. And it has been there for 9 decades. And the
I mean, the Saudi
opportunity that we
don't
have
want
today is
wars and
huge.
stuff in the Middle East. They
seems
don't.
that
They
it's
don't
gonna
want
be
a war
in
with the
next
U.S.
few,
They want peace.
decades. And what we are having today and tomorrow with
They'd have
President
to be
Trump,
stupid to
it's
want
really, huge,
They might want
huge
to
chapter on this
change
relation
things
that
about
will
the
add value
U.S.,
to
but
both
they
of us.
definitely want peace with
You know,
us.
when you think about it, I'm just sitting here. You're with the future king, a man who's respected by everybody, a man that doesn't have to be doing this, really. I don't have to be doing it either. And yet we're sitting here taking questions, we didn't say, oh, you can't talk about this. And there's never been transparency like this, even in his country, but there's never been, in our country, that's been acknowledged. But we didn't put restrictions. And I'm saying it's sort of wonderful to be taking questions from all over the world. Everybody's here. This is just a small group representative of tremendous numbers of media that are outside that are very jealous that these people were so selected. But they're representing a lot of people that are outside.
I bet they regretting picking that ABC girl.
I think it's really a wonderful thing.
If you don't mind, I have a personal question for you.
Okay, here we go. I should have said that.
So
Yeah,
apart
he
from
speak-
everything
he
you mentioned
speaks
in your
English
opening
pretty good,
remarks,
too,
you
like,
forgot
pretty
to mention
articulate,
that
huh?
you've de-escalated 7 wars since you started. At least in our part of the
A
world,
lot of
we are
even the
seen as a
foreign leaders,
peacemaker.
like they speak with a
And,
pretty heavy accent, and he's
adding
not,
that to all the
not really.
executive orders and everything else you've mentioned.
Probably watches a
I really
lot
have to
of,
wonder. You,
like,
in your
US
speech in
stuff.
Saudi Arabia, I was there. You said that His Royal Highness does not sleep at night thinking how he does things better. We wonder in Saudi Arabia, how do you manage your own time, and what's your formula for
He
management?
does not sleep much, and I don't sleep much. I think we have the same schedule. We're thinking about our countries. And if you sleep a lot and you're president, we just had one that slept more than any president. He broke every record. He sleeps all the time, during the day, during the night, on the beach. The only guy could fall asleep on the beach with the press watching.
He's never gonna stop hating
no,
on
he's not a
Biden,
sleeper.
bro.
I'm not a sleeper. We don't. We
like-
talk at night.
That was a
We
year
can talk.
ago.
I can call
Get
him
over it
almost
now.
any time. He goes, hi, how you doing? It's like the craziest times. But now, when you love your job, when you love your country, and when you're in a position like we are, future king, highly respected, crown prince, and in my case, president, you're thinking about your country. You're thinking about making America great again.
The left gonna clip
We're
that.
thinking about keeping
Trump talking
Saudi
about being a
Arabia
future
strong
king.
and vital.
I already see it.
In a pretty tough part of the
TikTok's
world.
incoming.
Tricky part, right? Tricky part. A lot of tricky people. But he thinks about his country, and I think about my country. I don't want to sleep.
President Trump, do you expect a formal civil nuclear deal to be reached soon? Can you talk to us about that aspect
With
of
who?
with Saudi Arabia?
I can see that happening. Yeah.
Do you think that an agreement will happen
It's
today?
not urgent. You know, it's always when you have civil nuclear, but you have more oil than almost anybody else. We actually have more oil and gas than they do, but I refuse to say that.
And
We have more than we have more than anybody. Can you imagine?
And on the F-35s, are those sales, Israel had reportedly wanted those sales to be conditioned on Saudi Arabia moving to normalized
Israel will
relations.
be happy. Israel is going to
That
be
a
happy.
condition of the F-35?
Israel's aware, and they're going to be very happy. Okay? Yeah, please. Hello.
Hi, hello. My name is Amal Hazani from Sharq al-Awsat newspaper, from Riyadh, of course.
Oh, from Riyadh.
I have a question for the Crown Prince and for you, Mr. President. Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, how much you expected from developing the cooperation with the United States in the field of new energy, AI, supply chain? How much you expected from that?
no limit. We just continue pushing forward. There's no limit. So we just push forward for all the opportunities that we have.
This is, you have to understand, this is really a great ally. Just the fact that they're now doing, I came in here at 6, I did not know that. I was pushing for the 1
I
trillion.
mean, the thing
but
for
he
me,
didn't tell
right?
me that.
Like the U.S.
now,
over the last
this is
50
a
years has
great ally of ours.
sent so much
You know,
money to
when you
Saudi
invest
Arabia.
$1
Like
trillion,
we've made a lot of their
that's
wealth.
national
So
security for us.
we can
too.
get some of that
Because
back
it
right
creates
now.
Jobs, it creates a lot of things.
Not really a bad
And I would
thing.
say, Scott, right? When you hear one country's putting
Even if we got
$1
a
trillion
adorned
into
gold around
the
the
United States,
prince
that
here.
creates national security. And you know, I think that they don't have to say that, but I think a big part of that is also the fact that tariffs are in play. But even beyond tariffs, that's a real ally that will do that. Creates a lot of power for the United States.
We are also in Saudi Arabia very happy because this much of Saudi money is a function here, and of course it's come back for us for benefits. So it's complementary interest. So this is the I think what's different the friends and allies do.
Well, look, I love the country of Saudi Arabia. I know the people very well. The level of treatment that we go when we go to Saudi Arabia is something that is incredible. And the people like us, and I think they really like America, especially when I'm president. I mean, I don't think they liked America so much maybe for 4 years recently. I think Obama treated Saudi Arabia very, very badly, as you know. And I think Biden didn't have any idea where the hell he was.
Biden didn't know what he was doing most of the time. Let's be real.
The future relationship with Saudi Arabia. I mean, from the strategic aspects. How would you describe that?
Say the relationship is with?
Yeah, the of economic.
I would say
politics
top of
and
the line.
relationship.
It's as good as it can. I don't think it can get much better. We have a country that trusts us, and that's why they make that investment. If they didn't trust us, they couldn't make that investment. And we trust them. They've been very reliable. Now I rebuilt our military in my first term. And we spent trillions of dollars, and we gave away some of it in Afghanistan stupidly because we had stupid people running our country. But we gave away. But that's as much as it was. It's a tiny fraction of what we put here. And we're bringing our military to a new level, the highest level ever. We have those plants are going out. And again, it's all American jobs and everything, so it's good for a lot of reasons. But as far as Saudi is concerned, no, I don't think our relationship could be better. I don't think they had a great relationship under Biden, and I don't think they had a great relationship under Obama. But they have a great relationship under Trump. When we did the presidential Walk of Fame, you saw that, right? And we're walking, and I asked the Crown Prince, so outside of Trump, because I blow everyone away, who was the best president for Saudi Arabia? And you could maybe, it's an interesting answer, I don't know.
The Roosevelt, who started it, which is a Democrat, and Reagan, he's one of the historical presidents that have close ties with Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
But we've worked with all presidents.
Does Trump blow them all away?
No, it's another league, Mr. President.
Trump's something else, bro.
And Trump doesn't give a fist pump. I grabbed that hand. I don't give a hell where that hand's been. I grabbed that hand.
I remember the first time he touched him, everybody was freaking
he travels
out.
for 20 hours, gets out.
Because normally
and he gives a
nobody
fist bump.
touches the
No.
royal family, apparently.
When you get out of the plane and you got the
I don't
future
know, I'm
king
not
and the
super
man is
well-versed
one of the
in,
most respected people in the world,
Saudi custom.
you shake
but
his hand. You don't give him a fist bump, right? We don't want to ask you about that, but I can't imagine you were thrilled. You were like a little bit surprised. He's a fantastic guy. You don't do that. Yeah, please.
We're getting closer to the end of the year. Have you started the interviews for the Fed chair?
Yes.
Who have you interviewed?
Let's see how much of
think
this
I
is
already
left,
know my
because
choice.
I really want to
Well, I like
see what's going
him,
up with the Epstein
but
file
he's not going
vote.
to take the job. He refused. You like Treasury better, right?
About 10 more minutes, okay.
So we are talking to various people, and frankly,
I
I'd
saw
love to
there
get
was
the
a
guy
bunch of releases
currently, and
on
they're
the
out right
Epstein
now.
file vote.
But people are
hour
holding
or
me
so.
back. He's done a terrible job, hurting housing a little bit. The truth is, we've been so successful, we've blown past his interest rate stupidity. He's been wrong.
Yeah, right.
That's why
I mean,
call
like,
him too
love or
late.
hate
He's
Trump,
too late.
like,
Jerome
the
Too
dude's
Late
got
Powell.
good people
He was
skills.
recommended
Like,
to
you
me
really
by a guy
can't
that
deny
made a
that.
bad
You
choice.
don't meet many people that have
And
sat in a
it's too
room
bad.
with
But
him and
despite that,
dislike
it's
him.
having very little
You
impact
know?
because we have all of these things happening.
You look at
But it has an impact on
Bill
housing to a
Maher
certain
and everyone
extent.
else
He's
that
a fool.
hated
He's
him
a
and then met
stupid
him in
man.
person, loved him.
But we have some very good people.
Yes, sir. You'll be sitting
And
down with
I
them in
think
the
that's a
near
good thing,
future.
really, too. Like, it's a good thing that people that meet him in person like him. You know, that a lot of people, you know, you can get whatever opinions you want off social media. I mean, you know, I've been in the social media space for like 6 years now ish, and I've had plenty of people hate on me, make up stories about me, do all sorts of crazy stuff. So, you know, but I don't know very many people that have met me in person that don't like me. And so, you know, kind of the same thing. People can say whatever they like, whatever they want about Trump, but, you know, he goes from having like church pastors to, you know, brutal dictators, and they all like chilling with him. So he's obviously like personable and a decent guy in person.
We have some surprising names, and we have some standard names that everybody's talking about. And we may go the standard way. You know, it's nice to every once in a while go politically correct. But we have some great names. Steve,
Have you
please.
talked to President Maduro?
Every
about
once in a while,
Venezuela
go
yet, or you
politically
still
correct.
open to that?
He wants to talk.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm open to talk. I talk to everybody. But no, he wants to. They treated us very badly. They sent all of their prison population into the United States, and we're getting them out rapidly. But he sent all of his, and he sends drugs into the United States.
Pretty
And
crazy if you guys look at like
he treated
the
us badly. He was dealing with a bad president, and he was able to get away.
The
We
mugshot
have
of, like, the
now,
people
I think
ICE
we
has
have the
taken down.
strongest borders anywhere in the world. Nobody's
some
coming in
bad hombres
unless
to
they
use
come in legally.
some old political language.
Very weak borders where millions of people came in. For the last 6 months, I mean, I don't do these reports. They say 0 people have been able to come in. Is that pretty good?
Mr.
I don't know
President,
if that's right, but it's
Mr. President, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
You know, it's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who's
Dude, he's
highly
roasting her
respected, asking
again.
him a horrible, insubordinate, and just a terrible question. And you could even ask that same exact question nicely. You're all psyched up. Somebody psychs you over at ABC. They're going to psych it. You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter.
I was gonna pause and say, translation, don't be a dick. But then he just, you're a terrible person.
As far as the Epstein files is, I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a
It seems to be
pervert.
that way too. Like, it's
But
crazy that the
I
left
guess I
is
would
using
turn out
this
to
as
be
like a
right.
talking
But you know
point
who does
now.
have? Bill Clinton.
Like, guys, that the left had the Epstein files for 4 years. Okay, they prosecuted Trump 34 times for basically the same crime that wasn't even really a crime, but they found some old obscure statute that they could make it a crime, and then they charged him 34 times for the commission of that single non-existent crime. You really think if they had the slightest thing, even like even if there was something that said like, yeah, Trump really likes them girls, not even referring to like young girls or anything. If they had an email or anything from Epstein saying something like that, don't you think they would put it out? That's why they're having to doctor up emails and stuff and, you know, use defensive redacting or whatever you want to call it to make the emails look bad. Cause like the Epstein, I looked through a lot of them. It's of the 20,000 they released, a couple days ago. It seems pretty obvious that Epstein hated Trump after he kicked him out and talked about him a ton. Well, 1, because he was the president, but 2, because he hated him and thought he was a POS and was trying to help the Democrats ruin him. So it's like, I don't know how you can look at that stuff and then be like, yeah, Trump's hiding the Epstein files because he was a pedo. It's like, dude, like you literally have all these emails where Epstein is saying like, he was never able to get him to, get a massage, and he wasn't blackmailable and blah, blah, blah. And he's a POS and he hates him and he wants him to be dethroned. Like if he had some, Epstein would have used it. It's crazy.
Larry
Anyway.
Summers, who ran Harvard, was with him every single night, every single weekend. They lived together. They went to his island many times. I never did. Andrew Weissman, I hear. All these guys were friends of his.
Exactly,
you don't even
Wah.
talk about those people.
Doesn't
You
hold
just keep
back,
going
speaks
on
his
the
mind.
Epstein files. And what the Epstein is a Democrat hoax to try and get me not to be able to talk about the $21 trillion that I talked about today. It's
And the thing is too, like, I'm not even like a big Trump glazer, right? Like, I think he's done a fairly good job so far. Way better than Camilla would have done and way better than Biden did. But I'm still fairly pissed off at a few things he hasn't fixed right now. Like, I think he could do a whole lot more with the mayors in the cities that aren't prosecuting criminals and aren't stopping protests and riots, right? I'm in Oregon, so we got Portland, and the ICE facility was getting bombarded every day for, 3 months, 4 months, until a group of mostly conservative influencers, Cam Higbee, Cho Show, Chris Daly, all of those guys, Nick Sorter, Nick Shirley, all of those guys went down there and basically, harassed the cops until they enforced the laws to get rid of the protesters. And they're still down there. They're just not being nearly as much of a nuisance. They've gotten calmed down a bunch since then. But it's like, why isn't he doing things like he has the federal jurisdiction to do that stuff? You know what I mean? When states aren't upholding the law, when states are breaking federal law, the federal government and the president has the power to step in. And if he was the big tyrannical dictator that a lot of the people on the left make him out to be, he would have stepped in like during his first presidency, let alone now, and he hasn't at all. And I wish he would do a little bit more in that respect. I think home prices need to come down. I think the colleges need to get mostly defunded. He's letting them take all this foreign money when they couldn't. So yeah, so it's not like I'm a big Trump glazer or anything either, but like the dude's smart. Like, he's not an idiot, and I definitely don't think he's a pedo from everything we've seen from the Epstein files. Yeah, I mean, Drew, that is exactly what I think is what's holding him back. I think most of what's holding him back from doing the stuff that a lot of his supporters want him to do is he doesn't want to cross that line, you would say, where he goes from, trying to enforce the law at a federal level to then imposing federal law onto the states. And I even think there's a pretty large congregation of the Republicans in government that agree with that, because the classic government principle for Republicans is states' rights, right? Let the state govern itself and the feds, just handle country matters, right? That is kind of the classical opinion from a Republican. So I'm sure he gets a lot of influence and pressures to hey, they voted for it, let them burn down the city, is kind of the attitude from some of his advisors. But I mean, he's not a dumb guy. So just do something. Like, some of these mayors could literally be arrested. They've done things that are bad enough that they should be arrested. And I think pre 2005, they might have been. I mean, when I was growing up, we used to have government officials get arrested for stuff, taking money or bribery or fraud scams or other stuff. And you almost don't see that nowadays, even though there's obvious things going on. Just first one that comes to mind, I don't know if this is the greatest example, but first one that comes to mind is Gavin Newsom's whole homeless crackdown in California, right? They put billions of dollars of taxpayer money into stopping homeless on a 10-year plan. We're 15 years into it, and homeless rates have gone up 10x. So where did all that money go? Portland's had the same thing. I've watched reports where it's this project gets funded $10 million to build like 50 homes. They only build like 3, and then the company goes bankrupt that all the money got, or the NGO organization or whatever. So like what, like the taxpayers of Oregon's got 3 homes for $10 million. Like that money went somewhere. And I bet you a portion of it could be traced back to the politicians if anybody looked in. So it's like, arrest these people, like get it done. Like, I don't understand why fraud and crime have gotten to be so acceptable nowadays. Like, it's crazy, right? Because I'm a business guy and I'm an entrepreneur and stuff, and I've run businesses for other companies and I've ran my own businesses, and it's like I do stuff with such integrity, and like it almost makes you question yourself as like, why? Like, why bother acting with integrity? Why bother doing any of that? Now, like, I'm a Christian, right? Like my morals wouldn't allow me to do anything else, but it's frustrating. Frustrating to, when you're following the rules, to see everyone else not following the rules and getting away with it.
Folks, now I just got a little report, and I put it in my pocket, of all the money that he's given to Democrats. He gave me none, 0, no money to me.
Yep.
But he gave money to Democrats. And people are wise to your hoax. And ABC's is, your company, your crappy company, is one of the perpetrators. And I'll tell you something.
So why not just sign it out?
I think the license should be taken away from ABC, because your news is so
He's
fake.
just ripping into
and it's
this
so
girl.
wrong. And we have a great commissioner,
I miss
chairman.
this. They
who
need to
should look
start
at
letting
that,
all the
because
lib
I think
reporters
when
back into
you
the
come
White
in,
House, because this is
and when
great.
you're 97% negative to Trump, and then Trump wins the election in a landslide, that means obviously your news is not credible, and you're not credible as a reporter. So I've answered your question. You should.
By the way, guys, this is my first ever stream on YouTube, so let me know how like the video looks. Let me know if the audio levels and everything are good, if anything's jacked up. Please let me know. I mostly do videos, but I want to start doing like some streams and stuff during the day, and so it's my first one on YouTube. So just let me know. Let me know if it's looking good. I'd appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Go and look at the Democrats who received money from Epstein, who spent their time. Larry Summers was with him all the time. That creep, the fund guy, was with him all the time. What's his name?
There's a lot of people with Epstein,
Reid
a lot.
Hoffman. I don't know Reid Hoffman, but I
Like,
know he
it's
spends
crazy.
a lot of money on the radical left. Reid Hoffman, in my opinion, should be under investigation. He's a sleazebag. And those are the people, but they don't get any press, they don't get any news, and you're not after the radical left because you're a radical left network. But I think the way you ask a question with the anger and the meanness is terrible. You ought to go back and learn how to be a reporter. No more questions from you. Who else has a question?
Prince, very quickly, I want to ask you, how much money is Saudi Arabia giving for Gaza reconstruction?
We are in discussion about that. Still, there is no amount being
It'll be a lot.
named, but
It'll be a lot.
we will definitely get it.
Yeah, he's going
It'll be a lot.
to. It's very important to him.
And a quick follow-up, the International Security Force, given your
Dude,
pledge
bro,
there be
no lie,
US
like-
boots on the
This seems like a relationship where like Trump is kind of like the husband and he's kind of the wife. And like, don't give me any death threats or anything for that. But it's like this guy, everything he says, he's kind of like 50-50 on, and Trump's just like, yep, nope, like just like, you know what I mean? Kind of the dominant personality between the two. It's pretty funny.
ground. What is the U.S. role going to be in that? And how do you sort of ratify the allegations that this could undermine Palestinian sovereignty and even the path to statehood?
Look, I think we're going to get along great with the Palestinians, and we know their leadership. We just had a very, you hate to say war, but it was a war. Very, very successful. And you could say really it was on behalf of everybody. We did that on behalf of everybody. And the outcome was extraordinary because we had the best pilots, the best equipment, the best planes, the best everything. And Israel bought the best equipment. They bought it from us. Everything's from us. It all starts here. This office, I was talking to the Crown Prince a little while. You walk into this office, for somebody from the outside, the Oval Office, it's the most powerful place in the world. You're standing right now in the most powerful place in the world. And no matter how big you are, these are the biggest people, the richest people.
I've heard leaders from around the world talk about their first time going in the Oval.
He's so happy to be here. But you walk into this office, it's the Oval Office. And we've done a lot of good with this office. I've stopped actually 8 wars. I appreciated your question before, but I've actually stopped 8 wars. I have another one to go with Putin. I'm a little surprised at Putin. It's taken longer than I thought, but we stopped India and Pakistan. I could go through the list. You know the list better than I do. I'm very proud. And I stopped one that was almost ready to start again. You know, there was one that was ready to start, and they're doing very well. So and it all took place right here in the Oval Office, whether by telephone or whether by they came in. Many of these leaders have come in, and you know they signed their peace deals right here in the Oval Office. So no matter if it's the biggest business people in the world or the greatest leaders in the world, the biggest leaders in the world, like the gentleman on my right, everybody walks into the Oval Office and they say, wow. And now, by the way, the Oval Office is in the kind of condition that it should be in. Whether you look at the walk or the marble floors or anything down the road, we're fixing the White House. We're building one of the greatest ballrooms ever to be built. You know, we have an event tonight, and we're going to have about 118 people because we have a very small room. For 150 years, they've wanted a ballroom, and now you're going to get a great ballroom. And I have to say, I probably made a lot of enemies because, in your honor,
Left was not happy about that ballroom, man.
Tonight, and we have a very small room, right? It's called the East Room, and it's beautiful. It's lovely, but it's like for a little cocktail before you go into a ballroom. It's a very small room. They've wanted a new ballroom for 150 years. We could have sold the big ballroom out 3 times in honor of this gentleman. So I made a lot of enemies because I have a lot of people that are invited tonight or are unable to come because of the size constraint. But you know what we'll do before I leave office? We'll have another dinner because we'll have it ready long before I leave office, and it's going to be beautiful. It's you know, it's
Long
a very
before
popular
he
thing what
leaves,
we're doing.
like
And by the way,
12 years
no
from
government
now.
funds. It's all put up private money, all private money. And in the case, I think it's there's a restriction on foreigners. Otherwise, I could have asked you just for a check, okay? But there's a restriction. These are all private individuals that put up a lot of money to build the ballroom. Not one penny is being used from the federal government. So it's really
That's
a nice
funny
thing.
because
But
every
I look
CNN
forward to it.
report I
just
see
pointed
is
it
how
out.
he
This
stole
would be a
taxpayer money to
perfect
build a
night
ballroom. But
to have that ballroom open, Susie. If we had that open, we'd have a lot of people very happy. Right now, we have a lot of unhappy people because they all
go
All
straight
right.
back.
This is what I wanted to watch next. Looks like they're passing the bill to release the Epstein files. So interesting to
Out
hear
there
about
too,
that.
live on the House floor. Still 9 non-voting there. I'm not sure, Casey, what could we be seeing here that's for the last 9 that's allowing this to continue on?
So a few options. The most likely is probably the simplest, that they're not on the floor, that they had some sort of travel delay. They were in a constituent meeting. They're racing there. Or, I mean, I know just from knowing the place, there are some people that want to be the literal last ones. And there's like this little Spider-Man meme on the House floor of like, you go, I go, I want to be just the story, the impact. There's so few like defining votes in Congress, even though they vote on a lot of stuff. This is obviously one, and they're trying to make their point, even if it's just for themselves or just for their memoirs of I'm the last one there. So anywhere, any reason from I was stuck in a meeting, I was stuck in traffic, to I just wanted to be the last one on a generation defining vote.
And it's interesting because we did also have a shot that has now gone away because this vote
A
was
generation
called, but the House
defining
Energy
vote. I guess we
Subcommittee
know
was
what
holding
side
a
this guy
meeting. So
sits
exactly
on.
as you're saying, they could have been in other pressing matters that they also wanted to address before leaving to make this vote. But again, still 7 left, 4 Republicans, 3 Democrats still holding on here at this point. Very, very close to the end. But again, everyone so far in the
let's
yay
be real,
category.
guys.
We were also hearing from Thomas Massey.
If there was
He is,
anything
of course,
big in the
been
Epstein
extremely
files,
outspoken on this. Do you
Republicans
think
had
that
it for a while, and the
affect his
Democrats had it for a
relationship
while.
with
Like
some of the members of
it's
his own
been
party
taken
moving
out.
forward?
Like if there was anything that could actually put
I
somebody
think
away,
his relationship with
like
members
that's
of
why
his own
they
party,
haven't
to say
tried to
nothing of the
prosecute
president, is
anybody.
sealed.
Like it's
And it has been for a while.
been
He's
too
a
long. It's a
thorn.
big nothing
This is not
burger,
true to this
in my
leadership or
opinion.
even this
I
president.
mean,
He's
everyone
known
seems
as a
really hyped about
procedural
it.
stickler, right?
And, like,
the same way Rand Paul is on.
I would like them to actually prosecute. I could give an F about the files themselves being released. I want action done from the files. Like we know this guy was a prolific trafficker, right? We know this. And like, there's victim reports and everything else. Like, we know he wasn't alone in this, but he's the only one being charged. So, like, it's just frustrating because whether they release the files, don't release the file, like, it's not going to give people what they want. And all it's going to do is just lead to more bullshit. So I think that's why Trump doesn't want them released. I don't know for sure, though. Who knows? Maybe I'm completely wrong and they get released and it has all this damning information about Republicans or something. But I doubt it. Like, I think if anything was in there, it's already been scrubbed out a long time ago for either side. Like, it's going to just be a bunch of, like, you know, nonsense innuendo, like the stuff in the emails they've been releasing. And that's all we're going to get. And all it's going to do is lead to more Democrats saying, oh, look at how many times Trump was talked about, or look at these Republicans were talked about in the files. And then the Republicans are going, look at how many of these Democrats are mentioned in the files and blah, blah. This is all it's going to be. Like, if they had any actionable information, I do think Trump would have acted on it. Like, even if it was a Republican, you know, if he had a photo of, or if there was a photo in there of Steve Bannon with an 8-year-old, I think Trump would have already prosecuted him. I'm pretty certain of that. Or if he wasn't going to, that photo got deleted, bro. So, like, either way, like, it's like nothing's going to come of it, but
on the Senate side, like, there's just not much you can do to please these folks. And it's just kind of, we'll take his conservative vote when it benefits us, and hopefully he's not too loud when it doesn't. Obviously, this was not a case where he was silent. In fact, he was one of the co-authors on this original discharge petition resolution that got to the floor and co-opted leadership to put it on the floor.
All right, and so we're again winding down to the very end here. Still 5 non-votes there. So what we can do at this point is I want to lift up the audio here on just so you can see exactly what's happening, and continue for folks who are just now joining us to get a little bit more context.
But I think he doesn't want them released because it's going to just lead to a bunch more of that finger pointing
on this bipartisan measure that would
you guys have
require
already
the Justice
seen
Department to release the files that are currently in its possession related to the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. And so this legislation is known as the Epstein Files Transparency Act. And as it's been reported, it was expected to pass, of course, very well here. No votes in the nay column. Well, one just popped up again there, Casey, for the Republicans. It might be yet another blip. We've seen that happen twice so far. And as Casey did let us know, that they have until that gavel pounds there to be able to change their vote. Could have been a simple mistake. So we'll continue to watch. And if not, we'll get the name of that person and continue to reach out to understand a little bit more. But again, this bill would compel the Justice Department to publicly release the files related to Epstein and his co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, within 30 days of it being signed into law, with some exceptions for survivors' personal information and other sensitive material. Casey, I have to ask you here, when it comes to Ghislaine, she's behind bars. She's in prison. She's serving a 20-year sentence. Could the release of these files affect her in any way? Could this affect her petition as she's tried several times to appeal the conviction? Is that possible?
Sure, right? Like, anytime new evidence comes to light, I guess I'm not incredibly familiar with. Oh, here you go. You got the gavel. This thing's closed, and I'll let you go.
The nays are 1. 2/3 being in the affirmative. The rules are suspended. The bill is passed, and without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
Well, there you go.
Casey, it happened. Did you hear that, though? He said the nays are 1.
Yeah, the one stuck. And so if you want to talk about like why there's grandstanding in Congress, watch the incentive structure of that one nay vote over the next 24 hours. You may not have heard of this person before, but I guarantee you're going to know his name or her name for a long time now, because he or she is going to get all the attention. I just don't know who it is yet.
Yeah, we're going to work behind the scenes to figure that out. Again, Casey Burgett there, we appreciate you for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. We're going to continue to listen in. As you said, they're going to be moving on to other information and other votes, 5-minute votes that are set to happen. But we appreciate you for breaking down the very latest, as this is now official. The House has approved the bill to release the Epstein files.
decision.
So it's stuff like this is what I think Trump is trying to avoid. Right? Like, I mean, Michael Wolff might deserve it, but people finding mentions of different people and then reading stuff out of context and trying to ruin their lives or careers or threatening to kill them and stuff like that. I think that's why he doesn't want them released. Like I said, who knows? I could be wrong. Maybe he's a prolific pedo, but I don't know. I think the Dems would have definitely done something if they had that information already. During the whole Biden administration, they would have loved to charge him with any kind of sex crime. I mean, they would have been foaming at the mouth to be able to do that. So.
All right. So we do have that name. We've just been told here by my producer, Clay Higgins, Representative Clay Higgins. We're going to work to see a little bit more information behind the scenes. And of course, just so you get some context here as to what's happening in the room, I want to put this up on your screen. This is from our Watch With You camera. So we have these. This is a vantage point of what I can see, but also the vantage point of what's happening in the room. And so right now,
man, I thought I had a lot of shit on my screen.
More about Clay Higgins, the representative, and the state that they are from. We're going to work to get some other information up there on your screen. Here we go. It's from the representative. I'm going to read it out for you. We just got this up on your screen. This is from his X account. Saying, I have been a principled no on this bill from the beginning. What was wrong with the bill 3 months ago is still wrong today. It abandons 250 years of criminal justice procedure in America. As written, this bill reveals and injures thousands of innocent people, witnesses, people who provided alibis, family members. If enacted in its current form, this type of broad reveal of criminal investigative files released to a rabid media will absolutely result in innocent people being hurt.
That's what I'm saying.
Not by my vote. The Oversight Committee is conducting a thorough investigation that has already released well over 60,000 pages of documents from the Epstein case. That effort will continue in a manner that provides all due protections for innocent Americans. If the Senate amends the bill to properly address privacy of victims and other Americans who are named but not criminally implicated, then I will vote for that bill when it comes back to the House. This is interesting there. Casey, I still see that you're here on the line. Do you mind chiming in on this? We have the full statement now. I'm intrigued. You said it. It was possible. You said we may not know the name initially, but now we have it. It's there. Representative Clay Higgins.
Yep. I know him. He's an incredibly strong Trump defender. He's a process-oriented
it's all Trump.
America First guy.
It's just blame Trump.
So I'm trying to think of how to say this without getting
Couldn't
fired.
be he's got a differing opinion.
He loves the limelight. He loves the spotlight. And this is,
I mean, that could
I'm
be true
shocked
too.
that
I don't
he
know.
is a nay vote, the only nay vote, I should say. But if you gave me a list of 5 people who would have been a nay vote, he would have been right on the top of that 5.
And so I'm watching this, and it was what we've talked about. A lot of the conversation had to do with what's in it, or will people be revealed in this? He's saying he's doing this for the victims. Do you think that this will stick well for him ultimately? I mean, it was, like you said, it was surprising to see this one no vote, and it's going to go down in history as one of the most major votes, but Clay Higgins decided to vote against it.
Yeah, so just doing the quick politics in my head here, he left himself a lot of wiggle room. So right now he gets the national attention that comes with this. He's obviously going to be incredibly well supported or well respected by the president for being the one lone dissenter on something that he doesn't want to ultimately do. And then within that statement, he gave himself some room to be like, the process here matters. And if you fix all this stuff, I can still come back around knowing that there will be another House vote on this measure. And then all we'll really remember in the end is that it passed and it was unanimous at that point. So he's really counting on not only taking advantages of being obviously seen on every TV screen of who is this guy right now. His profile is about to go bananas, but also he left himself some room later on to ultimately cast a yay vote when and if he gets all these protections that he lists here. There's too many to name, secured and the Senate changes. So politics at play right here.
And so that's what we'll.
Yeah, I mean, it could be politics. It could be just like I said, like if I was a senator and And, maybe he's even had private access and briefing to the files, and there's no real evidence in there. And it's just all going to be stuff where, oh, this guy talked to Epstein 3 times, so therefore we should never vote for him, and this and that. And like, that's not healthy, man. Like, that's not healthy. I've known some people in my life directly and indirectly that have done some heinous stuff. Like one of my old coworkers, his brother actually shot up his school and was a school shooter and stuff like that. It's like, dude, they got, now granted, his brother did do that horrible thing, but the family got, tortured, in the community and everything else. So it's kind of like, I don't know. What's up, Spokane Silver? I don't know. It's kind of one of those things where it's like, if there's no evidence for prosecution, I don't know if they should release them. I know that's kind of an unpopular opinion right now. You guys can, say differently, but what I want to see is prosecutions from the Epstein case. Like, if there's nobody to prosecute, I don't care about having a bunch of mildly speculative emails and stuff. Like, I want to see actually the people who were involved with Epstein go down. And, I don't know. If he was doing all the things that the conspiracy people said he was for years, trafficking people onto the island and getting blackmail for Mossad and other, special organizations and the CIA and everything else, then like there should be some victims that can testify, right? And say who they were with. Like there should be something. So if that is in the files, then absolutely release them. But I have a feeling that we're not going to get anything like that. I have a very, very strong feeling. I don't know. You can mark down this stream and we'll touch back when the files come out and see if I'm right or wrong. But I sincerely doubt we're getting anything like that.
The border battalions have landed in.
All right. We got Cash Jordan got a new video on Trump's deportation army showing up in Charlotte, North Carolina, right? Charlotte, South Carolina. I'm tripping now. I'm North Carolina. Okay, I was right. Charlotte, North Carolina, as 400 illegals launch all-out war. So I haven't really heard anything about what's going on in North Carolina with ICE officials and stuff. I've been so focused on the Portland ICE stuff. So this video just launched an hour ago, so I want to check it out.
The border battalions have landed in Charlotte, which is not ready for them.
His cell phone video captured the moment U.S. Border Patrol smashed Willie Acetuno's car window because he wouldn't open his door.
Why didn't he open his door?
Acetuno is a Honduran-born American citizen and was injured during his arrest.
Why didn't he just open the door? Oh, he's got a smoke grenade.
You better take care of it out.
Wow. This is like in the woods somewhere. I hear a massive crowd. Is he going to throw that thing? Oh, look at these people. Look at this mob out in the woods wearing pajamas. This is crazy. They must have gone here because they heard there were people in the country illegally, and the mob showed up.
Them and them damn whistles, man. They've been doing that in Portland too. They'll literally, like, somebody will show up and hand out like 100 whistles and just blow them nonstop. They've been doing that at like the Turning Point events too. If any of you guys watched like Cam Higbee stuff, I know of him. I've followed him for the last couple of years because he was up in Seattle doing stuff up there, but he's kind of moved on to doing stuff nationally ever since Charlie Kirk was assassinated. But like, oh, the freaking whistles, man. It's like the left's biggest weapon right now, and it's so annoying.
They are out in force, these mobs today, man. This is ridiculous. Look at these people.
2708 Kilgo Way.
Oh, it's a nice house. Yeah, these people, there's people living large over here. Oh, he's got the rifle pointed at the car.
He's breaking the window. He's got an assault rifle pointed at her.
Oh my. There's somebody in that car that won't cooperate. What did they do? They assault the agents? There's like a whole platoon here. Put the windows down. Put the window down.
Can you hear them yelling, put the windows down?
I can't. Wow. Just put the window down. Don't be like the guy who had his window broken. Why do you want your window broken? Why? I guess everybody here has glass coverage. They're gonna need it. Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand how the left talks about this stuff and people like record this stuff and think it's some like horrible rights violation. Like you see these headlines all the time, like, oh, ICE ripped father away from his children while his children tried to hug him, or ICE breaks down door or busts out window. It's like, yeah, they're law enforcement trying to do their job. Like if you rob a bank and you come home, the cop doesn't not break down your door. The cop doesn't not break in your window. The cop doesn't not pull you out from the arms of your child if your child is hugging onto you to arrest you. Like I do not get the lunacy with this stuff. I really don't.
That is just wild. Just cooperate. Just cooperate. Why? What's the point of this? They're out there arresting criminals, and you're making yourself a criminal on your front lawn for no reason. This level of activism is just ridiculous. These folks don't understand that when criminals are in the country without permission, it does not make America better. It doesn't. It does not. And look, now you got to go to jail. And now you're going to jail.
Yeah, and like, that's the thing. Like, right? Like, we're all, one way or another, we're all immigrants. Like, even the Native Americans were immigrants because we don't know where man originally sourced from, right? And if you go read Native American history, like they traveled around, took over different areas of land and everything else. Like everyone's an immigrant. So it's like, it's not that immigrants are bad. It's not that, you know, people traveling to different places to try and make a better life are bad. It's when you do it illegally and then perform multiple other crimes to cover your tracks and make money in the country, like that is a problem. Why is it so controversial to say that that's a problem? I don't understand it. Like a lot of these people have fake IDs and everything. I'm like, this isn't even a new problem. Like back in the day, you know, I remember I had some Hispanic friends and stuff, and they had family members and people in their close family and stuff that were illegal. And I remember them telling me about like, you know, getting a whole bunch of money back on their tax returns because like 5 of their illegal family members were using their social at their works with like fake IDs and other stuff. And so like he got the tax refund for like 5 people's employments. And it's like, and this was like 20 years ago. So like, this isn't a new problem. So I don't understand what's wrong with enforcing the laws. We've enforced the law and tried to track down these people the whole time. Then Biden turned it all off. And then now Trump's basically turning it back on and just allowing them to do their job. Like he's not even doing anything crazy yet. He's deported, you know, less people than Obama did. So like if he was doing something crazy and like, you know, they were lining the streets in every city with ICE agents and, you know, going door to door and searching attics for illegals or something, then like I would get it. But like they're literally just getting information and going and gaining people that are known illegals that are doing other criminal acts. And then if they catch other illegal people on the scene at the same time, they take them too. Like, I don't understand what the problem is with any of that.
Front yard to the rec yard at the jail. That's where these people
Someone
are going.
please tell
but
me.
Apparently
Someone.
criminals are also being located at the grocery store.
Doing that? What the
Whoa.
He was running for it, ma'am.
Oh, he's running.
What was he doing?
Obviously, he was actually illegal.
He's here illegally and he's running.
Illegal.
How do you know? Exactly.
Excuse me.
How do you know? Exactly.
He just admitted it.
He admitted it.
That's what we do interviews, ma'am. We do interviews.
Oh, the chief is here.
How do you
Greg
know?
Bobino.
How do you know? He told us.
Grocery shop, they gotta eat too.
Yeah, they do. And you know what? Most of the time.
Criminals grocery shop. That's right. All these arrests of people at grocery stores, it's like, hey man, oh, he was at the grocery store. Well, you know, he shouldn't have been here illegally, and criminals go grocery shop, and criminals provide for their families. What's so weird about that?
Why only Hispanic people? Why?
Look at this guy.
A lot of black people, white people, they're not from here. Why only Hispanic?
Listen, it's okay to not be from here. You just can't be in the country without permission. Look at this guy. He's going to get arrested. These
and
are
like
those
all these people making a scene, being loud, agitating the situation. Like, you don't think that that's making it worse?
Migrant mobs that just, oh, look, he just hit the car. Oh, are they going to arrest him? Are they going to arrest him? They have to arrest him now. He assaulted the vehicle. No, now they're moving in. Someone going?
Take him down.
Holding something.
So I mean, we need to be stiffer with law and order, man. We need to be stiffer with law and order. Like, all this BS on ICE, like, this is what I mean about Trump needs to do more, in my opinion, because, like, dude, any of these people, if they're blocking the car, if they hit the car, if they touch an officer, if they do any of that stuff, just arrest them. Charge them federally. Don't even leave it up to the state. Like, after a couple hundred of them go to jail, they're gonna stop. So
they don't want to altercate with these people. They just want to do their job and keep them safe, even though they don't understand that their community is full of criminals. Look at this right here. Approximately 425,000 illegal immigrants in all of North Carolina. That's crazy.
Any of you guys from North Carolina?
In Charlotte, and the neighborhoods that so many immigrant families.
He's a city council member.
Today I stand before you as not only the first Latino, but the first formally undocumented member.
Wait, the first formally undocumented? Is he an illegal immigrant? And he just saying that on the news? But anyway, any of y'all in the chat or in comments later, if you're from North Carolina, let me know what you think. Is it noticeable there? 450,000 sounds like a crazy large amount. Like, I would notice that if it was in Oregon.
Wow, so he's here illegally and he's running Charlotte. This place is apparently being run by criminals, where they apparently organize emergency protests because nobody here has anything to do. So they just have an emergency protest. This is a low energy crowd. These are the open borders people now that they have lost major U.S. elections. Look at them. These people, they think that they're the representatives of the Democrat Party. They don't understand. That party's being taken over by communists as we speak. Look, they got the press out here. They're just beating drums and chanting, waving flags. This is wild. That all of these people here, look, they've got Mexican flags.
Like, I truly just don't understand the justification for it. Like, if they're not legal in the country, why do people want them here? Like, let people immigrate legally. Like, let them go through the right path so that we can control the numbers and we have the social systems to support it and everything else. Like, what's the, like, I don't know, just because Biden let anyone who wanted in, like, why does Trump have to follow that same directive? Like, I'm just don't get it. Professional protesters. Yeah, I mean, there is an element of that for sure, Spokane Silver Stacker. I don't know if you've ever watched Nick Shirley's videos or, God, who's the other guy? There's another guy that does a lot of protest ones. He kind of looks like a young curly-haired Ben Shapiro, but he does really good at, like, tracking the protesters, protest to protest to protest, and figures out, like, what NGO they're working for and all of this stuff. So there is an element of that, but, like, on a 1,000-person protest, I would think realistically, from everything I've consumed, probably like 100 are, like, paid, and they're paid organizers, and those are the ones that are, you know, handing out the vest and handing out the signs and, you know, directing the crowd and instigating, you know, things to happen and stuff like that. But then the rest of them are, like, you know, organic people that believe in it, and I don't get it.
Got American flags. They've got some anti-Trump paraphernalia. Someone probably told them at the last minute, hey, we're going to hand you some American flags to compete with that massive Mexican flag, just so that this looks a little bit more patriotic for the right country anyways. Look, every sign is Hispanic.
At least I got rid of them.
You know, there are illegal immigrants from all across the globe. You've got people from Asia, you've got people from Russia.
Watch this.
This
They're
van.
there, they get out of their cars. This van swings around everything. Just about grazes the officers there and takes off with a couple of federal vehicles in hot pursuit.
Why would you want that in your
prompted a dangerous
community, man?
high-speed chase through a neighborhood In the apprehension, an officer was injured. Here's what DHS said. The perpetrator has prior arrests for resisting law enforcement, public disturbance, and intoxication, disruptive conduct.
Well, that's how you make America better. Do all that stuff.
Today in a parking lot.
Get him out. Bye. Go.
Look, that white van that almost rammed those agents, that van gets pulled over in a parking lot. And what's the truth? The truth is you have agents pursuing somebody who just used their vehicle as a weapon to attack them. That's the truth. But what are the activists going to see? They're going to hear there's a work van in a parking lot. They're going to see somebody who might look like this individual getting arrested here, refusing to come out. The window gets broken. They put the person in the car. They say, oh, see, they're arresting hardworking people, when that couldn't be further from the truth. But now the question is, how come these mobs?
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point that Cash makes. Like, I know a lot of times people with some of these crazy opinions, it's all up to what they're consuming. But what I don't understand is how, even if you're consuming that stuff, right, and you're thinking that, ICE is just going in masked and kidnapping random folks that are brown, and if that's, everything you're reading, like, when does your common sense kick in? Because, like, you would see that, you would hear more stories about that. When you looked into it, like, those stories would be confirmed, and, like, we don't hear any of that. Like, if there's like one person kidnapped in Oregon, like, everyone in the surrounding area of Oregon, Washington, California, all will know about it, because they'll be blasted out all over the place and everybody will be talking about it. But yet they're supposedly kidnapping tens of thousands of people, and, like, nobody knows the names. Nobody knows the stories, because they don't want to give that information, because when they give it, then it's like, oh yeah, we pulled up this guy's social media post and here he is with, MS-13 tattooed on his forehead, and pictures of him with guns and a kilo of cocaine. And so, oh, well, of course he got arrested. Like, it's drives me nuts, man. But that's what I mean. Like, I understand how you could believe that if all you're doing is consuming the news. Like, when it comes to nuanced stuff, like things about what Trump said or whatever, if you read a bunch of CNN and MSNBC articles and everything else in Vanity Fair about how, oh, Trump said, whatever, he hates black people, and you read article after article about it, then I could see you believing that, yeah, Trump's a racist, without looking into it anymore. But, like, this is a big story that's been going on for a while now. Like, wouldn't you expect to hear, just from common sense, more like evidence? I don't know.
Sanctuary rioters just happened to show up here and are all organized. Isn't that interesting how that's happening?
Being these highly professionalized, highly organized protesters who will move from city to city. They might be in Portland one day, in Chicago the next, Los Angeles. And that's really why President Trump and Secretary Noem have ordered this whole of government approach to follow that money.
Why aren't these people
arrested? Where is this
arrested?
coming from? Who is paying for the travel for these individuals? Who's paying and putting
who's
the bill for the
busting these
violence
people
we're seeing
in?
at our ICE law enforcement officers?
Right. So Operation Charlotte's Web, from a
Charlotte's
DHS
Web,
standpoint,
that's
has
what they
been very
called it.
successful so far. 130 apprehensions, at least, over the first couple of
Just
days.
a few days.
And acting ICE Director Todd
Crazy.
Lyons said it's not going to stop just at apprehending criminal illegal aliens.
It
Let's
can't.
We're going to focus on the worst of the worst, but we're also going to make sure if you're here in the country legally, we're going to get you out. And to the employers who employ and attract a lot of these illegal aliens that come in and steal American jobs, we're going to focus on those American companies as well.
That's good. It's about time that happened, because you know what? One of the big incentives for illegal immigration is that people can come into the country and start working somewhere, even if that's against the law. Happens all.
Yeah. Why aren't we arresting more of these business owners that have hundreds of illegals working for them? Like, I get in some cases they've ran like ID Verify and other things, and all their employees passed because they're, using good stuff. But then if they're like it, there's got to be an end to the chain at some point, right? If an employer has a bunch of illegals working, okay, and they're all using IDs and socials that came up in the system good, then there's something wrong with the system or something wrong with the state. and workers in the state putting these people in even though they're not legal to work. So you either prosecute the business owner because he didn't do his due diligence, or you prosecute the company doing the ID verify, or you prosecute the state employees that put these guys in the system. But one of the three needs to happen. You got to cut the snake off at the head. You can't just, keep getting the line level and thinking that's going to make a big difference.
The time, and you actually have operations between some U.S. companies and these gang members to bring in workers. So the people coming in, the gang members already know where they're going to staff them. There's already a pipeline going on here that saves some corrupt business money, while the business probably claims, hey, we're making the world a better place. We're giving people jobs that want them. Meanwhile, those people need those jobs to pay back the criminals that brought them in. And their presence in a sanctuary anywhere, even if it's not a sanctuary city, that just tells these criminals that they've got a business model that is sustainable.
Martha, do we know the criminal records of those so-called landscapers?
Yeah, this is what I always look at, man. Look at the criminal records.
Walking the streets here in Chicago or anywhere.
Every time they go through and do some big arrest somewhere, and everybody's whining about them kidnapping people, and then the local ICE departments post all the mugshots and all these guys' rap sheets, and they're all like, I got some of the worst crimes you've ever seen, violence against children, assault against women, and all sorts of other stuff like that.
What we're finding is
at least they got like petty theft and stuff like that.
Looking to go into people's homes or hang those Christmas lights like we see in this video here. How do you know who these people are? Do they have a criminal record maybe in their home country? Who are these people? Too many times we're finding that some very, very disreputable individuals are seeking work in people's homes, in their gardens, and otherwise. We don't want those people in society, and that's what we're after.
And that's just like another common sense take too, right? Like, if somebody's willing to come to a country illegally, breaking all the rules of entering that country, live illegally, assume false identities, false identifications, trick and lie to their employers, everything else, like they're probably not the greatest people, and they're probably willing to do some other stuff. Like, I understand, if you're coming from like a genocide in Haiti or something and you're trying to escape that, but there's millions of people that live in Mexico and have normal lives, and Venezuela and everything else. So, I mean, it's like, it just doesn't make sense why they'd be here unless they have a little bit of a little bit of animosity for the rule of law and stuff like that. See if there's anything else super interesting. I think we'll call it on that video. But let's see. Wanted to see what this was all about. Some huge drug bust.
I want to thank all of you for joining us here today at the Drug Enforcement Administration Rocky Mountain Field Division, giving attention to both the public safety and public health threat which fentanyl and those who traffic it continue to present to our community.
If that table's all fentanyl, that's nuts.
The deadliest drug threat to face our country, and the state of Colorado is certainly not immune from the harm it has done and continues to do. Fentanyl is the leading cause of death for Americans between the ages of 18 and 45. At a national level, drug overdose deaths have declined from highs of around 110,000 deaths in 2022 and 2023 to the most recently released data of 73,690 reported deaths for the 12-month period ending April of 2025. Those numbers still equate to filling a professional football stadium on a Sunday afternoon.
That's crazy, man.
While it's a positive sign that both state and nationwide overdose deaths are trending downward, Denver County is seeing an increase in overdose deaths compared to last year, with many of those deaths involving fentanyl. Our DEA Rocky Mountain Field Division is on pace to seize a record amount of fentanyl for 2025, in no small part due to the record-breaking seizure presented here today. With a reminder that only 2 milligrams of fentanyl is considered a lethal dose, and DEA's one pill can kill messaging, here laid out before you is the Colorado state record for a single seizure of fentanyl. Approximately 198 kilograms, or an estimated 1.7 million counterfeit fentanyl pills, along with an additional 12 kilograms of fentanyl powder. This marks the largest ever single seizure of fentanyl in the state of Colorado and the 6th largest ever in the United States. Let's be clear, this seizure represents thousands of lives saved. It is also indicative that the Mexican cartels continue to traffic significant quantities of fentanyl to Colorado, and the seizure has been tied to active DEA investigations involving federal, state, and local partners touching 6 different states as well as Mexico, targeting the Sinaloa cartel. We will continue to work with our partners to target them and their supply of deadly fentanyl in an effort to protect our communities and save lives. I am joined today by Douglas County Sheriff Darren Weekly, who's going to detail the origin of how this seizure came to be. He will then be followed by Colorado Bureau of Investigation Director Armando Saldate to share some of his insights on and CBI's role in the larger investigation before I return to add some additional comments on our efforts on holding accountable
That's
those
wild, though.
responsible
That's
for
so much
trafficking this
fentanyl.
poison into our nation. And with that, Sheriff Weekly, if you'll come up.
Like that's
Good
like
morning.
enough to take out the whole population.
Last Tuesday, November the 11th, our deputies were called to a storage facility in Highlands Ranch. Someone had legally purchased through auction one of those storage units.
No.
And shortly after they inspected that unit,
They opened the
realized
storage
there were
auction and
illicit
found
drugs
that?
inside. And they did the right thing. They immediately contacted the sheriff's office. When our deputies
Bro.
got there, they secured the area and
Oh
confirmed
man, if it was
that the
anything
unit
else, it's like
contained
millions of
several
dollars worth of
kilogram-sized
drugs.
packages that look like illegal narcotics, plus a huge number of M30 pills, the kind that are often counterfeit and often contain fentanyl. Now we'd like to show you a video of what happened when our deputies arrived on scene and the conversation with the supervisor.
Ooh, the police gonna show us the body cam. That's dope. They should have like gave it to the news beforehand so I could just overlay it, but no, a bunch of Costco totes.
No, that's an
Oh.
absolute metric ton of fentanyl.
Whoa.
A very unique situation here. A gentleman just bought a unit over here at the storage facility off of Johnstown. And it's got...
That's insane, bro.
Pills as well. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bricks that probably look like I haven't looked into those yet, but we're looking at a couple hundred bags of blue.
Let's do like Colorado's whole supply of blues for the year. Oh, they paid some money for their outro. Look at that.
Again, to put this into perspective,
That's nuts.
here's what we seized. 198 kilos, about 1.7 million counterfeit fentanyl pills. Another 12 kilos of fentanyl powder. Again, this is the largest single seizure of fentanyl in the history of the state of Colorado.
That's an insane
We also
amount of
seized
drugs.
2.5 pounds of meth. I want to be clear that this citizen did exactly the right thing. The moment that he realized that something was wrong, he stopped, he stepped back, and contacted the authorities.
Wow.
Because of his actions, we were able to remove a significant amount of dangerous narcotics out of circulation. Drugs that could have easily made it to our streets and to our communities. To be clear, this reporting party undoubtedly saved countless lives.
Probably
not
his
only in
own.
Douglas County, but throughout Colorado.
If he had touched any of that
and likely
stuff.
throughout our nation.
That's
This
crazy.
incident highlights the very clear and real danger that fentanyl poses to our community.
Wow.
Even in small
Like that's
amounts,
just one
fentanyl
dealer, dude.
can be lethal.
One dealer had all that.
And it's hidden not only in counterfeit pills, it's hidden in storage units, and hidden in many different forms.
Wonder why he didn't pay the bill.
It's a serious threat, but I want to make something also very clear. We are dedicated
Might
to
be,
this crisis.
you know, 8 miles out and 6
Fentanyl
feet
and
under
illegal
somewhere.
illicit narcotics will not be tolerated in our communities. And particularly in the Douglas County Sheriff's Office, our deputies, our detectives, and our
crazy.
crime lab professionals
Shit makes me want to be
are
a cop,
committed
man.
to keeping this community safe, and we will remain relentless in that mission.
Like, I got youngins.
I want to thank the
All of
citizen
that
who
in one
reported this,
city.
the storage
In one
facility
storage unit.
staff and the management for their cooperation, and the deputies who responded quickly and professionally. I would also like to thank our federal partner, the Drug Enforcement Administration, and CBI for the quick response and partnership. None of us can do this job alone. And now it's my pleasure to introduce the Director of the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, Armando Sedalte.
Good morning. Thank you for coming here today to discuss this record fentanyl seizure that highlights the ongoing efforts of law enforcement to combat drug trafficking in our communities. I'm happy to be joined by these partners here that are vital to this fight and the fight that we take every day to make our communities safer. This massive seizure just mentioned that we've just talked about represents over hundreds of pounds of fentanyl pills alone. While the CBI certainly does not take credit for this seizure that occurred in Douglas County,
Man. All my
from the
silver
storage
stackers know
locker,
how many
what I'm here
170
today to
something
talk to you
kilos
about
is.
how these drugs were directly associated with what
Like,
started
I probably
as a
couldn't
CBI
carry more than like
investigation
15
earlier
or
this year
20
into a drug
kilos in a
trafficking
box. Like,
organization operating here
hurting
in
your
Colorado.
hands.
Earlier this
170
year,
something
a
of pills?
wiretap investigation involving many partners, including CBI, identified a major
Frickin'
drug
wild.
trafficking organization linked to the Sinaloa cartel that funneled drugs into Colorado, led by two brothers who led that drug trafficking organization. That investigation led to multiple arrests and drug seizures earlier this year, but obviously not all the drugs the group produced were found. It turns out the fentanyl you see today was sitting in a storage locker for months. We now know that the storage locker belonged to a drug courier linked to this organization. Once the courier was arrested, the storage unit bill went unpaid. CBI agents conducted search warrants and identified suspects in connection with this drug trafficking ring. The sheer volume of drugs found in this storage locker indicates a very sophisticated operation, likely producing millions more pills. We extend our sincere gratitude to the Drug Enforcement Administration for their cooperation in our original joint investigation, and of course, the Douglas County Sheriff's Office for the storage unit's discovery and investigation following. These joint partnerships are crucial in identifying and dismantling drug rings, such as the one believed to be associated with this drug cartel. The seizure of these drugs represents countless lives saved, as these dangerous substances will never reach our communities. Our mission to get drugs off the streets and put drug traffickers behind bars and make Colorado safer remains as vital as ever. Thank you.
That's crazy, man.
Sheriff Weekly, Director Saldate, and also joined by our Rocky Mountain HIDTA Director Keith
Yeah,
Weiss.
I think that's all the
Personally,
important stuff.
on-
But still, like, that's a crazy, crazy find, man. In a friggin' storage container. In yellow and black Costco bins. This whole table of drugs. Wow. How many overdoses? How many homeless people on the street? How many young kids thinking they're getting a Roxy or an Oxy or whatever, and they're getting one of these things. That's crazy. Crazy. All right. Now, one more thing I wanted to talk about. You guys don't know, I posted this video a couple days ago. The right-wing civil war has begun. I'm very proud of the thumbnail on it. I grew up listening. Oh, I don't think it shows you a thumbnail, but There's a small picture of it. Very proud of the thumbnail on it because I think the thumbnail looks funny. But seems like Trump's made some comments about, Tucker and what's going on right now with the Republicans. So let's take a look.
Well, I found him to be good. I mean, he said good things about me over the years. I think he's good. We've had some good interviews. I did an interview with him. We had 300 million hits. You know that. Look, I can't tell him. Will you let me finish my statement? You are the worst.
He's just roasting people,
right?
man.
You are the worst. I don't know why they even have you. We've had some great interviews with Tucker Carlson, but you can't tell him who to interview. Well, I found him to be good.
Exactly. Hold on. There's got to be a longer clip of that. I got to find it. $32 seconds, 32 seconds. A minute. Here we go.
And if he wants to interview Nick, I've had some great interviews with Tucker Carlson, but you can't tell him.
I love how he's like really getting back to roasting reporters, though.
Fuentes, I don't know much about him, but if he wants to do it, get the word out. Let him. People have to decide. Ultimately, people have to decide. The mayor of New York, I will say, would like to meet with us, and we'll work something out. But he would like to come to Washington and meet, and we'll work something out. We want to see everything work out well for New York.
You yourself had dinner with Nick Fuentes at Mar-a-Lago a few years ago. What role should he play in the conservative movement?
Well, I didn't know he was coming, and he was with, as you know, somebody.
Kanye.
And Kanye asked if he could have dinner, and he brought Nick. I didn't know Nick at the time. And he did. He came, and along with a few other people. He brought a few people with him. Meeting people, talking to people, like for somebody like Tucker, that's what they do. People are controversial. Some are, some aren't. I'm not controversial, so I like it that way. Okay.
See, man, that was the whole thing for me. Like, here's my video. The right civil war has begun, with that very good thumbnail that I like. But like, yeah, that's the main thing for me is like, why are we worried about who Tucker Carlson is talking to and everything else? Why are all the major influencers on the right deciding to infight and try and cancel each other like the left has been doing for the last, 10 years to themselves and Republicans, rather than, trying to advise the president on the things that really matter right now? The housing issues, the income inequality issues, the cost of goods, some would say the Israeli influence. There's all sorts of things that people are really pissed off about. Very few of those are Tucker Carlson talking to Nick Fuentes. So it's kind of crazy that we saw, every major influencer making multiple posts, multiple videos, every major influencer on the right bashing other influencers on the right back and forth all over the Fuentes thing. Like, it started this whole chain reaction, and it's just stupid. It's not what we need. Not what anybody needs. Yeah. I don't get it. All right, let's see if there's anything else interesting going on. We might call it there.
Riley Rogerson with notice. I appreciate your time here on Live Now from Fox. It was 427-1. Riley Rogerson.
So here's a Live Now video talking about the sole Republican who voted no, which we know is Clay Higgs, to releasing the Epstein file. So
with notice, I
see what they have to say.
On Live Now from Fox. It was 427-1 on the House floor. That lone representative being Clay Higgins. What do we make? Are we surprised that this was so overwhelming today?
It's interesting because
Yeah,
last
Republicans
week it
must have
did
gotten the
seem
okay
like
from
a
Trump,
lot of
really.
Republicans were going to support this bill, but it wasn't until President Trump dropped his opposition to this legislation that we saw a massive jailbreak of Republican lawmakers who said they
Yeah,
were going
fine.
to support this bill and put their names on the record in support. So yesterday,
They want to have a big
I
argue
talked to
fest. Let's
dozens
let it
of
happen.
Republican lawmakers who said they would support this, and that's
I'd
ultimately
prefer
what
to
they
see
did.
people go to
Just
jail,
Clay
but I don't
Higgins,
think
a
there's any
pretty
proof in there
conservative,
left.
Lawmaker from Louisiana was the one member who voted against
If
this.
there was any
Republican
evidence,
or Democrat,
they would have used it.
His issue with it was
Trump
primarily
or Biden.
procedural. He doesn't like how the discharge petition went, and has issues with how files are released relating to criminal procedures. But otherwise, this was a huge unanimous moment on the House floor.
Yeah, and you mentioned, he said it was a principled no, and this is a post on social media from you saying earlier this week or last week, he told him the petition itself is poorly written. It supports an endeavor that contrary to longstanding criminal justice procedures in America. So I've opposed it on that basis. And of course, this will go over to the Senate, potentially a vote tonight. That would be monumental, but they potentially could also add amendments talking about the privacy, talking about the redacted nature of some of this information in and around Jeffrey Epstein, obviously the convicted sex offender and sex trafficker there. What do we expect on the Senate floor? Could it get through tonight?
Right. So it's worth noting that even though someone like Speaker Mike Johnson voted for this on the floor, he voted reluctantly. He has a lot of concerns about this legislation. And he said that he doesn't think that there are adequate protections for the survivor's privacy and other issues with the bill. So he has talked to Senate Majority Leader John Thune. He tells reporters that John Thune has said that he will move forward with some kind of changes to this bill, and Johnson has confidence in that. So it's unclear how much that process, that amendment process, will impact the timeline. I'd be surprised if we see a vote tonight, but that doesn't mean it won't happen. And I think it's interesting that we're seeing Thune committing to moving forward as soon as this week.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. What type of conversations? Because we heard Speaker Mike Johnson earlier on today saying he spoke with Thune about some of what's going on. What are those type of conversations? Are they around these potential amendments? Because if it goes to the House, it passed through, and then the Senate, it might obviously return to the House. What are those conversations? What are we hearing from the Speaker?
Oh, okay. I more wanted to see like interviews. I don't care this girl's opinion.
Obviously, because it kind of goes around leadership. But my general view is this is
Buy a new mic, Fox. Come on.
Discharge legislation that has a majority of the entire body and supported the Social Security Fairness Act, and we got that signed into law by discharge.
And what about the Affordable Care Act? What do you think needs to thread here that reporters are asking about has to do with Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett, right? I guess I should say delegate, non-voting delegate, Stacey Plaskett from the Virgin Islands. Through the documents that have been released, there appears to be some sort of tie between Jeffrey Epstein and Stacey Plaskett and Congressman Ralph.
All right, guys. Let's see. Hey, there's my full screen. All right, I think that's it for today's. Thank you guys for hanging out and watching. I'm going to be trying to start streaming more because a lot of what I do in the YouTube videos could also be done on stream, and then I can still chop those up and use them for YouTube videos. So, if you like what you see, make sure you subscribe. Keep on coming back. Tell your friends. But yeah, I'm going to try and cover, breaking news. We'll talk about the market, see what's going on. If we get questions in the chat, stuff like that. So I appreciate you that was there. This is my first stream on YouTube, so I wanted to give it a try and kind of test everything out. Been live for a couple hours now, so I appreciate you guys being here so much. Thank you. Love you. Yeah, let's get to work. Keep praying, guys. I'll see you on the next one.